So let's just go back. Last time, right? The Buddha say that the poor lesbians are the ghost, right? Right. Yeah. Oh,
Mm,
uh, spirit driven earth, trees, metal, and stone. Um, the before moon. So of course, the modern age people would not believe that there's some type of tree spirit. Not talking about the stone spirit, right? What do you think? It's impossible for them to believe, right?
I think, some people may be open to the possibility, but probably the average person isn't, I would think, in the United States. It's in plenty of movies, the idea. People are definitely familiar with the idea of them, but I don't think people think of it as a real thing.
No. Hmm. So let's say for the normal common people, when they come across this kind of passages, they may shake their head. They say, "Oh, the spirit dwell in earth, in tree, metal, and stone." They may shake their head. What do you think? It's
Yeah, some of these could make people like stop being interested in reading, perhaps if they're like, oh, okay, spirits can't exist. And so if this is talking about spirits, then everything else must be useless in it.
mm.
I guess that is a risk.
You know, while we're driving on the road, especially freeway, we sometimes we may see people put the cross, right, to indicate that there's some accident happened before, right?
Mhm.
In our Vietnamese culture, uh, of course, instead of putting the cross, most of the time they put in a small sign. You know what? A small sign, right? You know that, right?
Is it like a small sign?
No, no, it's more not the sign, but the describe. Describe. Let me show you. Let me show you this. Mm.
Oh, like shrine?
Yes.
Oh, shrine. Okay. Yeah, I know what you mean. Hmm.
Mm-mm. Like this. To like this one. You see that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So in Vietnamese tradition, they believe that we need to put that type of shine so that the spirit can stay there. And sometimes they put the Buddha statue or Bodhisattvas so that those spirit, the one that die because accident, would take future rebirth. Otherwise, they may wait another accident to harm others, people too. You heard about this one before?
Um, the idea of like a ghost causing an accident. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's in like pop culture, movies and
Um,
stuff have that. Yeah.
so in the West, right, they just put the cross to indicate where people pass away because of accident. That's all, right? Not much in the spirit way, right?
No, I don't think they're thinking about the spirit way. Just a reminder, I think,
Mm-hmm.
of this person's life and death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in Vietnamese Far East Asian culture, we put the child there because we're concerned that the worst may because more accidents to harm
Mhm.
others people at that particular area. Yeah. Anyway, so let's
Yeah.
just go. That's why somehow it connect with the wood, the tree, the rock, the stone. What do you think? Right? It's more in. You think people in the East they're more spiritual than the people in the West? in that way.
It's the idea is definitely present in our culture too. Like they might think about like haunted objects, and
Mhm.
it's in our stories, like shows, movies. So
Mhm.
it's clearly something that is like it's on our minds in a certain sense. There's a reason that it's in our stories, but we have I think the movement for rationalism, for saying, okay, these things that we can't measure or see experience with our senses, we should discard these. But there's plenty of reports and experiences people have of that sense of some sort of spirit presence with inside of an object. You could probably go on to Reddit and find, hundreds of people discussing their experience, if not thousands. Um, so it's hard to say. I think it's hard to disprove it. It'd be hard to prove it beyond doubt, but it
Mhm.
also I don't think we could disprove it beyond doubt either.
Mhm. But I don't know, I may be wrong. People in the West, especially in America, they tend to be uh, realistic and they focus more on material life than the spiritual one. Right? That's why they may not care much. Of course, like you say, there's some kind of conversation, some kind of belief, but there's not much prevalence in community and society if something happens, right? Mm, mm, yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Let us move on then. Okay, let's see here. Okay. About lesbian. Because of tunnel view of the parasitic dispositions in object samsara as a result of inversion caused by subjective willful mind, subject and object infect each other and combine to produce a favorable condition for 84,000 confusion commensal thoughts for reverse as beings who are formless yet have a form, such as a jellyfish which use whom as their eyes. They are found in plenty all over the world. So these are beings which are beyond yet have a form. Wow.
Hmm.
Imagine that more than 2,500 years, the Buddha or even higher tradition mentioned about jellyfish that at that time people could not understand what's going on, right? Up to now. Mm.
Like they use shrimp for eyes. I've never heard of that.
Mm.
I wonder if we are you familiar with it? Using maybe we should Google it. Maybe because there are all sorts of animal relationships where one animal helps another animal, they help each other. I would not be surprised if there was some relationship between a jellyfish and a shrimp.
Or I just thought that they have similar eyes as a scream. You think so?
I mean, this translation would suggest that somehow the shrimp are guiding them. Like they're following the shrimp, and so the shrimp are navigating, and then they can somehow follow the shrimp based on the smell of the shrimp or
Yeah.
something.
Mhm.
I don't
Like
know.
the
I'm gonna look that one up.
yeah, like the blind person follow a normal person, right? Mm.
Hmm.
Mm. Wow. Again, let's go beyond our thinking, our understanding. So because of the confused mind, that's why they have this type of formless, but yet have the form, a jellyfish. Um, hmm. Yeah, it's clear how to understand. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I wanna look it up. I'm so curious. Let me see. Are there jellyfish that have a symbiotic relationship with shrimp and benefit from the shrimp's vision? Here's one, a cleaner shrimp associated with a jellyfish.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, there are these cleaner shrimp that live on jellyfish.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the jellyfish type is the Siphosan medusae,
Hmm.
and it's a commensal relationship. And here, confusing commensal thoughts. That's interesting, right? Because it
Hmm.
parasitic disposition. So these jellyfish, the shrimp feed on the mucus produced by the jellyfish.
Hmm.
Um, and I wonder, what do the jellyfish get? It says the interaction between the cleaner shrimp and the jellyfish is poorly known, with only one published report for Brazilian waters. They added, and this is a research study adding new observations about it.
Hmm.
So very well, they could, it's like it's unknown what the relationship is. So maybe this is a clue. Maybe we should email those Brazilian researchers.
So they don't know why, right?
Mm-mm.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's why it's all kind of beings that produced from the thoughts, and they may work together. Even they have two body, but they have still work together, right? Hmm. Yeah, please. Hmm.
Because of the turning wheel of seductive dispositions in objective samsara, as a result of inversion caused by subjective artful minds, both subject and object rely on magic and spells and combine to produce favorable conditions for 84,000 entreating, confused thoughts for rebirth as beings with forms yet formless, who grow weary of witchcraft. They are found in plenty all over the world. These are beings with form, yet beyond form.
Hmm.
They grow weary of witchcraft. Interesting. So, seductive dispositions. Since there's talk about magic, I'm thinking they don't just mean sexual seduction here, but they mean seduction as far as like gaining power over someone through appealing to their desire, is my guess, to like by somehow giving them something they desire to have some sort of power over them. Um, Entreating and confused thoughts. That makes sense that that'd be the nature of them, because if someone is trying to seduce someone, it's like it's an entreaty to try to entice them into something. Um, yeah, the formless, with form yet formless, who grow weary of witchcraft. I can't, I don't know.
You know what type of life is that, right?
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
They are beings with form yet beyond form. Hmm.
So probably they so subtle that we could not see them, right?
I would think so. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
So with form, yes, formless. So it may relate to some kind of formless celestial beings. They their body is so subtle, their body is so light that we cannot see them, but they can recognize us,
Mm-hmm.
and they can have some kind of psychic power, like witchcraft. In the West, when we talk about witchcraft, right, it is really mm, strange, right? Mm.
Yeah, I mean, we're all familiar with the idea, but because of, I think, in just a strong sense of like rationalism, that it's generally dismissed. But I think there are probably a decent number of people who believe in some sort of like witchcraft, spellcraft. Um, Definitely, there's a growing interest in Amazonian shamanism in the United States.
Hmm.
So people who have experienced that, like they're all about spirits and witchcraft and all of that. So I think that's, some people get an idea of it from there or an understanding of it from there. But yeah, generally I think in American culture that's mostly stamped out that idea that witchcraft is real. Um,
So
yeah.
have you encountered one of them like that, in person or in direct way, or you just uh, mm, fairy tale?
I so I went to Peru a couple times because I was really interested in learning about this root Uchu Sanango for treating body pain, and I'd also experienced ayahuasca here in the United States and found it very compelling and like super interesting, and so I wanted to understand that more of how it could be used to help people. And in in the ayahuasca experiences there's a sense. So you drink this. It's a drink that then it's like there are these visions that occur, and they seem very real. They don't like a dream would feel real, like they feel meaningful, and there are other entities or other beings that interact with one's consciousness. Um, and there's like all sorts of different intentions. Like one were just very like helpful guides that I experienced. There were others that we're like this, we're seductive. Um, and would like they kind of go something that someone's weakness, something they really wanted, they would like try to lure based on that. Um, So this to me doesn't seem that far out there from those experiences. It seems like, yeah, that makes sense. And then people I know here who work with psychedelics like mushrooms, they have this experience of in that state there being some intelligent entity that's communicating with them and generally is helpful. The folks I've talked to, I've heard other bad experiences, but the guy I'm thinking about, or the guys I'm thinking about, it's like insight and also like helpful guidance and maybe a new look on something. Um, so it seems like these are really good explanations for those experiences.
Hmm. And, hmm. So the one that you encounter most time they took some kind of herb, some kind of plants, some kind of mushroom that affect to the nerve system, right? But I'm talking about when we talk about the witchcraft, that means they have some kind of skill, right? Some kind of second power, second skill. Mm,
Well, these beings have like that are subtle form. They're not like a human form. They haven't take right. It's someone who's on the substance. It's like it opens them to perceiving
wow.
these spirit beings, and those spirit beings do have like ability to move energy in a person's body. So someone may have sensations inside their body, or they'll have experiences of synchronicity
Mm,
where they'll get some sort of information from this spirit and then it actually is true in real life. Or they feel like it like empowers them in some certain way to cause things to happen in their life. Um, so yeah, I think it matches.
mm, that's different from other people who use drugs, smoke weed, right, or vape weed, right? You know, one day I walk into Walmart and look for, W40, you know that, and they asked for my driver license. I'm so surprised. I said, "Why is that?"
Oh, people huff almost anything.
They
Yeah.
explained to me. That's the first time ever I heard about that. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Usually, yeah, I don't hear these experiences as much from people who use marijuana. What I hear from people who use marijuana are we, like bad, like higher amounts especially, they'll have really bad experiences, or even sometimes someone who's done it for a long time and they didn't have bad experiences, they may start to. And like someone I know is telling me, he's like, yeah, I've smoked marijuana before, but I don't smoke it because I hear these little people and they're telling me to do things whenever I smoke marijuana. It's like, yeah, definitely don't smoke marijuana then. Um, they seem like distinct experiences, but maybe there's a little bit of overlap, but just maybe it's like certain spiritual beings can
Uh,
affect people on I don't know.
they both, right, for the, you can say this, the tree spirit, or the substance of that type of weed, right? That type of leaves may affect to their brain system. That's
Mm,
why they see all kind of illusion. Um, Actually, last month, this one guy came to my chamber, and I think he's in the mid 30. Uh, he didn't tell me clearly, but according to my conversation with him and his mom, we suspect that he used drugs. That's why he has a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear. Um, we don't know whether he sell drugs or not, but still, it seems to me that he has a lot of anxiety, and even he carry a gun inside uh, his wallet, his purse, to protect himself
wow.
because he's thought that people may assassinate him.
That's yeah, that's pretty intense. So if he's not dealing drugs, then that's some paranoia. But if he's dealing drugs, then that's
Please.
probably, pretty normal for someone who's dealing
Yeah,
drugs.
that's why. Yeah, uh, in front of me and his mom, he would not accept that. He would not admit that. But after he left, so his mom revealed, yeah, somehow, yeah, he played around with drugs. And he sell drugs. So that's why he had to have for paranoid, right? Where
Yeah.
especially the darkness. He always feel that there's someone high in the darkness to harm him. That's why he carry those kind of weapons to protect himself. Anyway, so probably
Dang.
one is for the karma, another one is I think the drug affect to his mind. Uh, yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, so mm, mm. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go more on then. Because of turning wheel of deceitful disposition in objective samsara as a result of inversion caused by subjective tricky mind. Both subject and object combine to produce favorable condition for 84,000 interchanging confused thought to be reborn as thoughtful yet thoughtless beings. So that perhaps which mistake laughing about instead for their own. They find plenty or overdo. Waps.
Mm.
I don't know what the waps is.
A wasp, it's kind of like a bee
Oh, okay, the
can
waps.
sting over and over.
Let's see. And how about la vie? What was that?
that would be the baby form of a lot of flying insects.
Oh, okay.
So the first are kind of like little worms, and then they become, get their
Okay.
wings and everything.
So here the Buddha explained in detail. Um, I don't know. I remember that in Vietnamese version, it would not talk much about this kind of thing. Or a different form of lives. Not much with the WAPs. Um, Again, when we think about them, it's just I think that they will be sorrowful for them, right? They just fly around and hand mess around with all the beings. And yeah, one more thing is when we're done with this human body, I think we need to have that kind of wisdom to choose the path. Otherwise, we may go with them. Uh,
Yeah.
well, we're human right now we can pick and choose, right? But when we're in this body, it is different realm, different paradise, different paradigms, right? Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't want to be a wasp.
um, that's why people, because they don't know what's going on for their life after they're done, that's why they feel more safe, right? They feel more safe to rely upon some kind of high power, supreme power like God to rely upon, right? And for us, we rely upon the Amitabha Buddha, but we don't know. We know that at the moment, the last moment of our life, it's all happens, million things, a trillion things maybe happen. We don't know. And um, yeah, at that moment, it's just not easy to be formed uh, with our mind. Mm. So up to now, you think this be frightened for you if you're done with this body and you may not know where we're heading to, or is frightened, or just accept
Mm.
whichever thing happen or the thing.
Yeah, we talked about this last week too.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I don't. There certainly is some trepidation in my mind about it. I don't know that it would be full on frightened, um, but just, I don't. It's the unknown.
Hmm.
Um, I think there's a sense of some fear, but there's also a lot of, I'd say, surrender to it, of like, all right, whatever it is, like that's what it's going to be. Um, and hopefully I have some time before I can, keep practicing. And
Not easy to recognize where we're heading to. Not easy to be aware of where we're heading to. The one famous Zen master, his name is Wei Yang, Wei Sang, and he said that after I done with this life, I will become a water buffalo uh, uh, nearby the mountain.
Mhm.
Uh, so of course people uh, could understand his implication about his teaching in the methodical way, or the actual or the face value that after he done, even he red master, after he done his life, right, he become a water buffalo. And nearby the mountain that he practiced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, like one thing I contemplate is, if I was born as like an animal, well, the animal doesn't really have the same capacity to suffer. Like, yeah, there's cold or there's pain, but you look at a dog that has three legs, or even dogs that have two legs, they're just as happy as dogs that have four legs.
Mhm.
It's really humans that kind of suffer more deeply and particularly over problems. And then, if one was a wasp, well, wasps don't even live that long. So the time before you like go into a new rebirth again, but I mean, I imagine it's still not great. Like I imagine I don't know what the experience is like with the absence of the reflective capacity of a human. Um, but there's some that seem like it'd be like kind of easy. Like imagine being like a scallop. I mean, a scallop, it just kind of swims around. It just brings in water and spits out sand.
Mhm.
It probably doesn't feel that like it's probably not, I don't know, it's probably not terrible.
But
Um,
but still, would I say that having human body, right, is
oh yeah, that's definitely my preference. But I'm
mm-hmm.
just kind of thinking about like, he's saying he's gonna be a water buffalo. And
Mm-hmm.
there's that other Zen master that got turned into a fox.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or the master that came back as a sugarcane grub.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I guess it's good to have some fear over it because then it motivates practice.
Mm-hmm. According to my experience, there's one story. I mean, that the real story that I don't know whether I should share with you yet. So more than 10 years ago, this a father he passed away in Atlanta. So went out there to do this funeral service for him, and uh, later on, after the 49 days of praying, his children went up to our temple in Corden, and guess what? When the church got to the gate, remember the gates, right?
The butterfly,
Yeah,
yes,
I told you, right?
yes, yeah.
And and not only me, but all the people, Vietnamese people, they mentioned that too. So in my view, that probably the spirit, because of their attachment to the loved one, their children, grandchildren, and so forth. So somehow they ended that kind of form of life to show their relatives that they still around. And after that, of course, after that they would help you with the birth. So it seems to me that, let's say, when we drive in the car, right, we may go astray. We may go to different direction that we don't, at first we didn't have intention to go, but eventually we find our own path. So do the disease or this spirit probably at first they may it's million things happen, so they may go stay here and there. They may take some form of life, whichever. But if we believe in the law of karma, right? So if we do good this or somehow that type good it will lead us back to the path that we get used of that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Uh, yeah, so I think this is in logical way, and of course it's unknown, for us until we either pass away to deal with that, or have some kind of second power, or second eye to see what's going on. And like Dalai Lama, he said that um, after 90 years old, he will let people know where he heading to. He
Mm-hmm.
has kind of power because of his cultivation. Um, yeah,
Yeah. I've heard of people who know a couple weeks ahead of time before they die.
yeah.
Um, at the Anlak, the Vietnamese temple in Indianapolis, there's a couple, Thuy Dat and Duto. Duto would say that her father was like that. He knew about 2 weeks ahead of time and he just told everyone.
Yeah, if they practice sincerely, somehow that's the wisdom. They know where they're heading to. But of course, for the average people, they wouldn't know much. Mm.
And even just that time period of like if I knew, okay, I'm dying in 2 weeks, well, then that's really easy to just become single-minded and prepare. Um, so that would I mean that would be helpful having a little bit of a notice ahead of time. I mean,
Mhm.
starting now, not like not doing anything now, but not waiting until 2 weeks ahead of time, but really, like really totally all in as you
Mm.
get closer.
Yeah, yeah. Mm. Mm. So if you, let's say, if you recognize that you could be back as human again, so what you wish, what you want to be here,
Mm.
to be born in the United States or somewhere else, or born in the Buddhist families, or doesn't matter.
Yeah, the way I think about it is, certainly to be born in a family where I can like have access to the Buddhist teachings. Um, and it worked out okay for me this life. Like nobody told me to. I didn't learn it from a small child, but I found it myself
Mm,
with little help from people around, and obviously the person who wrote the book, Roshi Philip Kapleau. But I guess the ideal would be to be born in a sincere Buddhist family where the mother and father are both practicing fully, where they're not just practicing for the sake of blessings or not cultivating blessings either, but they're balanced, they're sincere, and in a place where I don't have to worry about like diseases and early death and a lot of difficulties, but some place relatively affluent. And I think that'd be the best base. I mean, one could still always mess it up. Like a lot of times kids will reject their parents, but I think they reject their parents if there's some lack of integrity they see, if there's something that doesn't make sense between what their parents do and what they say. But I think if you had a very sincere Buddhist, couple that were parents, I think that would, you know, naturally the child would be drawn to it.
mhm.
So
Yeah, so I think we discussed before too, like the 10 vows of universal worthy Bodhisattva. Yeah, she said that yeah, we cannot bring anything except our vow, our determination. It seems to me that that's logical because if we have a strong determination, if we sometimes we go astray, if we go astray from the path, with that type of strong determination, it will lead us back to the path, right? So I think it's logical. So that's why I used to even me to yeah make the vow, small vows, so that small vow or mid vow, whichever, serious vow to work on the path. And with that type of vows, I think at least I hope at least those type of vow will lead us back here instead of go astray, go somewhere without know where we're heading to, right?
yeah,
Mm.
that's the story of the meditator who was resting in meditation, waiting for Shakyamuni Buddha to appear, but meditated too long. And then when
Chuan.
yeah, it was Tenchiang the one who told him to seek the rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this guy, I don't know how, like he was really old. He
Mm-hmm.
survived for a tremendously long time, had mastered a deep meditative absorption, but he could not navigate to the household, right? He got distracted and he went to the wrong household. Or
Okay.
maybe it was like the seed of desire that was still in him.
Mm,
Like, so, when I sit down to meditate, in the beginning, it's real clear and I can follow my breath very easy. And then, like a couple minutes in, something just it goes sideways and I have no awareness of it until after and it's like, oh, okay, I was distracted. So it
mm,
seems like after death there's likely going to be a dynamic similar to that where we could be, okay, I'm about to die, I'm very much clear on what I'm going to do, but then all of the karma returns and yeah, who knows. It seems like unreasonable to think that I would have mastery over it, given the stories that are out there.
mm. Yeah, so I think at least we follow Buddha teaching, especially Bodhisattva advice that we need to make a strong vows, solid vows, right, so that we won't go astray from the path. Even we may go astray for a while, right? But at least with that kind of vows, we go back to our path. On the top of that, with the blessing of the Buddha and Bodhisattva. Yeah, of course, this is just belief, it's just a faith, and we don't know what happened. At least in our daily life, uh, if we don't make any kind of vows or determination, most of the time we just follow up. How about your pattern, our karma, right?
Mhm.
Um, eh, if we're not mindful, we just follow whichever thing we done, and I think it's worked the same way with our spirit when we done with this life. It's not easy, but that's the way out. And okay, so can we stop today, please?
Yes, Dad.
Yeah. Okay, so